Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Eduardo Novoa. I am the Technical Training and Development Coordinator here at the Ignite Hub. Our director, Kimberly Block-Rincan, could not be with us today, so you're stuck with me. I'm sorry. Joining me also is my colleague, Anthony Fiora, our lab coordinator. He is behind the station doing all the technical stuff. So thank you. Thank you for being here, to our guests in person and also to our guests in line. Uh, by the way, for our guests in line, if you have any questions or comments during the talk, feel free to post those in the chat and we will relay them to the speaker. So today, I'm very excited. We have a great topic and a great speaker. So this is our monthly edition of the Future of Tech Launch and Learn guest speaker series, which is sponsored by Verizon. I have to say that. Verizon sponsored our guest speaker series, and we will have a meal for the in-person attendees. So thank you, Verizon, for doing that. And again, today we have a great topic, which is basically wellness for the people in the tech industry, something that is not usually talked about, but quite important. And we have a great guest today. I am happy and honored to introduce Megan Cooperman, who is the Employee Wellness Specialist at Montgomery College. She has 25 years of experience in the fitness and wellness industry, and she has worked as a mind-body instructor, personal trainer, and director of wellness programming before taking on her current role. Megan has 2 master's degrees, one in school counseling and the other one in industrial organization psychology, including stress management and resiliency training. Thank you so much. Please, let's welcome our wonderful guest, Megan Cooperman. Thank you so much. Welcome. Welcome to the Hub, Megan.
I think I'm on. Okay, I'm on. Good. Thank you to those of you in person. Thank you to those of you on Zoom. Appreciate having you here. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to do this. I often say to individuals that wellness is something we talk about a lot, or we think about potentially throughout our lives, throughout our days here and there. But unfortunately, it's the type of thing that as life gets busy, or we have work, or we have commitments to families and other things we need to do, it sort of goes by the wayside. And I was supposed to originally do this talk last semester in the fall. Due to electricity issues, we had to cancel it and reschedule. And I was telling Kimberly this morning that I think like sometimes things work out the way they're supposed to, in the sense of that while it was an important topic then, with everything going on right now and a lot of instability in our backyard and in our world, the topic's really important now. So for those of you here, thank you so much. And again, thank you to the Ignite Hub. You could get that slide forward for me. Yes. All right. So I do want to let you know I'm all about you thinking about how these topics relate to you and what we're going to talk about. So I welcome you to drop in the chat if you are on Zoom. Go ahead and answer any of these questions for me. If you are employed in the tech sector, what is your role? And my friends in person, you're welcome to shout it out as well, and I can relay what you share. You don't have to share. And if you don't want me, my friends in the room, to say it out loud, just tell me don't say it out loud. And those on Zoom will not hear it. But again, if you are currently employed in the tech sector, what is your role? Are you a student studying technology? What interests you about the topic? Again, just glad you're here. And if you're using health and wellness technology, right, taking it to a different place, what products or applications are you currently using? Because there's so much out there. So what might you be using? So take a quick second, a few seconds to think about these things. And whenever you're ready, if you'd like to on Zoom, drop it in the chat. And those in person, you could shout out anything to me. I'd be happy to relay it if you want, or just say, hey, you don't need to say this on the mic. And it'll be a quiet mic for a quick second. So think about that, please. Jump in. Okay.
And also, I don't use any health and wellness technology because I'm afraid it's going to take up too much of my time, which is limited. And so I'd like to know what I should use.
Sure. So are you okay if I say this out loud? Okay, perfect. So sort of trying to understand how too much technology right? The concerns about we get stuck in it, it takes up our time and it could be toxic potentially. If you've heard about that doom scrolling, where people are kind of, you get stuck on something, you can't get off it, and that's on purpose. It's kind of firing up those endorphins in our brain to keep us there, just like things like sugar would or smoking, other things that are addictive. But also the question too of not using that stuff and not really wanting to get pulled into it for that concern of, right, that negative impact it could also have, right? But how we also just keep identifying the things that can help us overall. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Anything in the chat for us? Okay, no worries, no worries, all good. Did you want to share? Yeah, jump in.
Technology, but I understand that, and many of the reasons why I'm not involved in a lot of social media is because of that. I know myself to be like I would consume it too much to it in excess. So I do limit myself, but there's some great, I've heard of great technology to put wellness and mindfulness on the top of your radar, which is using technology for your better life, for the best of you, like just for the best version of yourself. So I'm looking for what's the latest or what's been helpful for others. So I am really excited about this session and this whole concept of wellness and technology.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that you said that because there are good tools out there we know for wellness. And it's finding the stuff that's been vetted, and that is very helpful because our future, as we know, and currently as we know it, is so much technology, right? So there is so much out there. I will remind all of you that wellness is a $800 billion plus industry. So if you are in the tech sector presently working, or if you're a student, or if you're thinking about going into the field in some way, there's opportunities to make lots of money, or maybe you want to go into wellness, right? Like there are opportunities to make lots of wellness, but how do you vet the good stuff from the not so good stuff, right? Yes, please. Yes.
Got one more. One comment in the chat here from Darian. I think that technology is very useful for wellness. I own an Oura ring, which tracks my sleep cycles, stress levels, and blood oxygen concentration.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. There are those tools that we know about that absolutely are helping people stay healthy and well. The Oura Ring is a ring that you can wear that can track our biometrics and other data, as well as things like Apple Watches, Fitbits, super popular with people. They know how many steps they're getting to keep them within a range for their heart rate, for everything they're trying to do for physical and mental well-being. Any other comments in the chat for us before I jump ahead? I think someone might be coming in the door, maybe so. All right, so we're going to jump ahead. I appreciate you. And again, please feel free to ask questions or jump in the chat. If it's a longer thing, I will answer it further later. We will do a Q&A session, but don't be shy to drop anything in the chat or any thoughts. I welcome at any point, and welcome in person. Nice to have you. All right, so let's jump ahead to the next one. All right, so we are going to talk about wellness in general. When you talk about wellness, I feel like we need to have that big context picture, and it's going to be a very quick overview of things to just keep in mind with wellness. Why wellness in the tech sector, right? Which you may already know. We talked about some things for our personal usage of maybe we get addicted to it or that they want us to get drawn into it, and what's the good stuff and the not so good stuff out there. But also the bigger picture with those working in the tech sector, what's going on with some of the data that it shows. We're going to talk about two of the big ones, our physical wellness, our emotional wellness. And I'm going to share some of the current data so you're aware of it, and just give you also that big context and important reminders because it does go hand in hand. And then talk very briefly about opportunities for tech in wellness, especially if that's a field you want to jump into. As we mentioned, the Oura Ring. Thank you so much for sharing that, Darian. And yeah, let's jump ahead. So, all right, well, anytime I do wellness, I feel like it would not be beneficial to us if we didn't do some type of a mindful moment. I want you to take care of yourself. And this is your time in this session to remind yourself that your well-being is important. I thought it would be appropriate while there are wellness opportunities you can do in person. We can go to gyms, we can go to recreation centers, find programs in our backyard. There is so much out there that we had talked about and already started to talk about that is through technology. One of those companies and resources out there is Headspace. And I share Headspace because while they are an app, and I will talk a little bit more about it later, they are an app that's supposed to focus on mental health. They have a lot of their tools for free on YouTube. And so I share that because you can find it there if you want to access it for free and you don't want to have to spend some extra money on it. So we're going to take a mindful moment. This is a mindful moment meditation from Headspace that is available and free on YouTube. So I welcome you to participate. I welcome you just to watch the screen. If you'd like to do as they tell you to do, it is a brief one. They have all different lengths, and this one's a brief one, but I invite you to use it if you would like at this moment. So we're going to jump ahead. You could hit play and closed caption for us on the bottom too.
Hi, this is Dora. Today, we'll be trying a grounding technique to help settle your mind and body and rediscover a sense of balance whenever you need it most. No matter what's going on around you, whether you're experiencing feelings of anxiety or racing thoughts, you can always take comfort with this visualization intended to help you feel more grounded and balanced in this moment. Start by placing your feet on the floor or sitting in a comfortable position. Take a cleansing breath in and out. Closing your eyes and feeling the weight of gravity, feeling the earth supporting you. Now, visualizing a strong, sturdy tree planted firmly into the ground. Its roots anchoring deep down into the earth and its elements. Leaves drifting away in the breeze. And just like those leaves, thoughts will always come and go. Feelings will always come and go. But from this anchored point of view, we can take a step back from those thoughts and see them from what they are, rather than what we expect them to be. By acknowledging them and letting them go, we're able to create a deeper connection with the mind while staying firmly rooted in the present moment and embracing all the different aspects of our lives. You can always come back to this whenever you need to reconnect to a sense of groundedness or reconnect with your environment and surroundings. Thank you for watching. Have a healthy, happy day.
Yeah, right? Fast, simple, right? So they know from research and data that meditation does help our stress, does reduce anxiety. They know that mindfulness and activities like this will help individuals find a sense of calm in some way. And we know that the mind and body is all connected. So they do encourage individuals to find some type of a meditation or mindfulness, whatever that is for you. But again, I share Headspace as an example because you don't have to pay for their app. You can find it on YouTube, and you can find all different time lengths of these meditations if you'd like. And so Headspace was originally started by an individual who decided they were going to go become a monk. And they lived with monks for many years, and they engaged in meditation and saw the profound impact that had on their well-being and others. And they left being a monk, but they started Headspace. They created the app. And then recently, Headspace in the past few years purchased an app called Ginger. And Ginger is a mental health app that provides counseling, coaching, education on mental health, whatever, psychiatry, whatever someone might need. So now it's one big company and they do it all, just as an FYI. So an example of technology and wellness kind of going hand in hand. Go ahead and jump ahead, and you can find it on YouTube, a lot of those for free. So that came directly from YouTube. So super important, the big picture, right? In order to talk about wellness, we need to talk about dimensions of wellness. And this is the dimensions of wellness from Gallup. There are multiple dimensions of wellness wheels out there, and some of them add other dimensions in. But this is your pretty standard one of the dimensions of wellness that we look at when we talk about wellness, because we know they all go hand in hand. So we know if someone's having physical issues, if they are ill or sick, it's going to impact their emotional well-being. We know that if you're having environmental challenges or spiritual challenges, it's going to impact your potential social connections, your physical well-being, or vice versa. I ask you to look at this and maybe take a moment and evaluate for yourselves, right? How are these dimensions for you? Is one better than the other? And maybe not. We don't have to be in balance all the time, but it's good to understand how these kind of tie together. A big one that is missing from this that a lot of people also talk about is financial wellness. That is a huge component of wellness, right? If we don't have the funds and there are challenges going on, we can't get the physical help we might need or the mental health that we need. And that's real. The other one missing, just as an FYI, people in the wellness world are talking about a new dimension of wellness right now, and it's called stability wellness. With everything going on in the current environment, we know there's a lot of instability, and this is a time where there's more instability than not, than possibly previously. Maybe not for everyone, but for the majority, particularly in this area, our location. And so they're saying that people are looking for stability wellness, somewhere where they can find some type of stability, if it's work, home, school, so that they have some sense of stability in their lives, just as an FYI. All right, let's go to the next slide. And please jump in if you have any questions or thoughts. So, wellness in the tech sector. When you think about individuals working in the tech sector, or if you are sitting on a computer right now somewhere doing work, right, watching this on your computer, maybe while you're fully engaged, or maybe while you're eating lunch or doing another project for work, right? Why do you think it is important? Why wellness? Shout it out, anybody, or write it in that chat for me. Go for it. Why wellness? Shout it out. A peace of mind. Yeah, go ahead. I love that. Without your health, you can't do anything, even if you have everything. Yeah, right? Ah, yeah, yeah. Love it. Yeah, what a good metaphor you shared. That F1 racers take their car, right? The cars have to go through the pit stop to be taken care of to perform to that top level. That we need to do that too, right? There's only so much keep going that we can do, right? Eventually something, our body, our mental health, something's going to tell us enough. And the question is, are we listening to it, right? The signs are always there, but the reality is, do we pay attention to it or do we ignore it? Right? Because we work. That's also what our society is all about. Work. And then what happens, right? The car can't function, right? We can't function well. So any thoughts in the chat that we missed, or we're good? Okay, no worries. Thank you so much. All right, let's jump to the next slide. All right, so in general, related to the tech sector, and this is pretty common that you will see in a lot of fields as well. Obviously, the physical impact of sitting. Any type of role where you are sitting, particularly majority of the day, is going to have a profound impact on your wellness. We know there's eye strain. We know there's overall fatigue, particularly looking at phones, looking at devices and screens. But we also know in the tech sector, particularly post-COVID and COVID too, because tech became everything for us, high pressure, dynamic environment, and quick deadlines, right? People want changes, they want it now. They want things fixed immediately. 8 out of 10 tech professionals, this was from 2024, indicated that their jobs have become more complex post-pandemic. 89% of tech professionals reported that they feel immense pressure at work. And then 84% of tech professionals found difficulty turning off from work. And this is common in other fields too. We think of all the people that were supposed to be off of work, but we're not really off of work because of technology, right? Phones at your fingertips, your emails at your fingertips. You're off, but you're not really off, right? Yeah, that's not good for us at all. All right, so let's jump to the next slide. So we're going to start with physical wellness. So obviously being sedentary is not beneficial for us. So we're going to talk a little bit about that data and research that might make you think going forward during your day, whatever you're doing, if you are working or you're retired or whatever you're doing, that you tell yourself, I need to get up. All right, so let's jump ahead. So new research, current data, if you were not aware, is that they actually say that sitting is the new smoking. They know that when we sit, it has the same impact on our bodies as if you were smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. So they know it is not good to sit. And I think it's a pack a day, but if I said that wrong, we'll find out in a quick second. I'm pretty certain, but the impact is profound. Came out of my mouth and I was like, wait, hold up. So what I will tell you is that while you're sitting, it is not good for you, especially all day. But we're going to look at the data. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the specifics. So we're going to jump ahead. So what we do know, here we go. You'll see 1 hour sitting is as unhealthy as smoking 2 cigarettes. 1 hour sitting decreases your life expectancy by 21.8 minutes. Men with 23 hours of sedentary activity per week are 64% more likely to die of heart disease. And it only takes 90 minutes for the blood flow in the back of your knees to slow by 50%. Obviously, if you can't get up, that's a very different story, right? But this is really the reality of if we are able to get up and we are able to move, we know that we need to be getting up. So let's switch to the next slide, which has actually one of the studies on it. So in 2024, this was released. It was a study of over 480,000 individuals who they studied for over 12.85 years, and they predominantly sat at work. These individuals that sat had a higher risk of mortality from all causes and a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. You could see the percentages on there. And that is compared to those who did not sit, and they adjusted for sex, age, education, smoking, drinking, and BMI. What they basically found, what this tells us, is when you sit at work and you sit most of the day, it is going to impact your well-being. And they know that we need to engage an additional 15 to 30 minutes of physical activity per day to reduce the risks. And they do say, while you can work out before work or after work to kind of combat some of that, they know it's better if you are getting up throughout work, right? Because you're going to have some benefit there. But if you want the greater benefit, you're going to get yourself up. And what they do recommend is every 30 minutes, you are getting up in some way. Now, that might not be applicable or practical, depending on your role and where you are and what you do. But if you can at least aim for every 45 minutes to an hour that you are getting up, walk the hallway, head to the restroom, whatever it may be, whatever you're doing, or maybe you're at home and you have kids or yourself, get yourselves up, do something together for a little bit before you sit back down again. So in general, we know that prolonged sitting does have a negative effect on our well-being. All right, let's skip to the next slide. Thank you. So I ask you to reflect on your own work schedule, on your own daily schedule. And I want you to think to yourself or write down and save for yourself. And you can always shoot a screenshot of this if you're on a computer or take a picture. And if you do want my slides, you're welcome to message me. I will email them. I have my email on here at the end. I will send them to you. But I want you to think about how long are you sitting, right? What does it look like during your day? How long are you sitting? How often do you get up and move? And when you get up and move, how long are those breaks? Pre or post work or school or whatever you're doing? Are you sitting or engaging in physical activity? I know it's hard. Believe me, I work full time. I go home sometimes and I'm like, I just want to sit my butt on the couch and do nothing else. So I know how hard it can be. And what physical activity, when you are engaging in, are you doing for how long? And what's the intensity of it? You don't have to go do a HIIT workout. Everyone familiar with a HIIT workout? Yes or no? So it would be a high intensity workout, meaning you are going hardcore. If you think of CrossFit, that would be a HIIT workout. You could do a low intensity workout that has the same benefits for you and well-being. The research and study and data, we're all different. Our bodies all respond differently, but we do need to be moving in some way. All right, so save that for yourself, reflect on that. Let's go to the next slide. All right, so what are the recommendations? As I mentioned before, find a way to get up and take frequent breaks. And if you have a coworker that's going to help you do it, where I work in HRSTM, the HR office here at Montgomery College, I see a group and they get up and they take a stroll all together. And then they head back after they take their stroll. So they make each other accountable to get up. That's awesome, right? If you are able to have a workstation that allows you to sit and stand, take advantage of that. That's also an ergonomic issue, which we'll talk about in a second. I will say standing workstations are excellent and they can help the body depending on what's going on with you. But if you're just going to stand there, you don't have the full benefit. March your legs or do something. We got to move the body while we're there. And always, 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 if it is not your thing and you haven't paid attention to the signals your body gives you, pay attention to them. What does that mean? That means when you're sitting, if you're noticing something in your low back or something on the side of your body or your shoulder or neck is feeling tight, that is your muscles and your body saying to you, you need to move. They're saying enough. Get out of that position you're in and move something, adjust, right? Right? There's a reason why we feel something. Our muscles are like, I don't like this. Listen to them when they do it. Thank them. Thank them. Say, thank you, muscles, for causing me a little pain. Ow, that hurt, right? But thank you so much. And I'm going to adjust and move my body. So pay attention to those signals. And if it's not your norm, learn how to identify those signals and train yourself. And if you're not already doing it, for my friends in the room, show of hands, who has some type of routine you are doing to stay moving at some point during your day? You're doing walking, you're doing something. Something, yeah, right? Something. I encourage you to try to figure out where you can add in more movement in some way. In the fitness world, I know oftentimes we might wake up and something really hurts in our body. And the old philosophy and thought was, I'm just going to stay here. I'm in pain. I'm not getting up, right? Unless a doctor has told you not to move, the new philosophy and thought is what they say is motion is lotion for your joints. We want to move. There's a reason why they will tell you you should get up and be moving, and unless a doctor has told you differently, right? So whenever possible, we want to move. We want to get up and move. So make a commitment in some way. Make a commitment for yourself that you will do something. And if you're someone who you're not going to be able to do it on your own, find a way to be held accountable or someone who's going to make you get there. Think of that person that's going to do it with you. Or if you like to take classes, do a class so someone knows you're showing up. Have a partner. I am the worst. I don't like to work out at all. 100% honest truth. I teach fitness only because it forces me to be there. So I found my way to ensure I get it done, right? So whatever that may be for you, find the way to get it done. And if you want to teach fitness, just talk to me. I'll get you a job. We'll figure it out. So, all right, next slide. So if you're not familiar with what ergonomics is the science of fitting workplace conditions and job demands to the capability of the working population. Ergonomics is often thought about when you think of individuals who are doing repetitive motion jobs. So if somebody's working on a line and they're pulling things on the line or they're grabbing an item, that repetitive motion eventually, if they're not getting some support, their muscles and their body are going to react to a repetitive motion. Or you think of someone who all day long, maybe like an Amazon delivery driver who's picking up boxes all day long, right? That eventually, if there isn't some support there, may hurt their back in some way. So ergonomics is how we sort of figure out that to help people be successful at work and also their bodies feel good. All right, so obviously, jump to the next slide. When you think about ergonomics, what really comes into play, particularly with technology, is our posture, right? So if you have not already heard, and I'm sure you have, being on our tablet, our iPhone, our computer, literally we are all falling forward, right? And if you look around and you start noticing people's posture, you're going to see a lot of people who are falling forward, meaning gravity is going to try to pull us down. And if we're looking at that device looking forward, we're going to allow gravity to take us there, right? So we want to get that opposite motion, and we really want to focus on the posture and ensure when you're using those devices, you're being smart about it. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, they show really where should we be going so we can maintain that posture. And also I would say, If you are someone sitting on the couch and you're watching a TV show, take a moment, whenever, or set an alarm on whatever to check your posture. And we're going to do a quick little exercise because you know I'm going to make you move. I'm a wellness person, right? So we're going to do a little quick exercise and I'll show you what you could do to help that. But just have that posture checklist. Whatever you are doing, and if you're working in the tech sector, if you're on a computer, always, if you can, or if you have a person at your business who can help you evaluate that, check your workstations to ensure your proper posture and minimal strain. My kid, I see her at college. She's on her bed, on her computer, hunched forward. It is the absolute worst place to be. And then she complains to me she has back problems, right? Makes sense. We really want to be sitting at a desk of some form. If we are sitting, we want that chair where our hips are at 90-degree angle and our feet are flat on the floor. That keyboard and mouse should be at a distance where you can maintain it and it's all leveled with that elbow, but also that you're not having to reach in a way that's uncomfortable for your body. That could have a profound impact also. What I would say, the general recommendation, I have an ergonomics, I have an advanced certificate in it. And what the professor shared with us, and this was a good way to remember it, is you want to think about how you drive in your car, how you sit in your car. Now, if you're someone who's really far from the steering wheel and you're all the way back, that is not how we want to be. But think about how you sit in your car with support on your back. That is that position you want to be in that's going to help you the most. That's sort of what we're going for when we're at the computer as well. Unless, again, you are a really far away driver. All right, switch over to the next slide, please. Other things to keep in mind, monitor position. And again, I can share these slides if you'd like. Just reach out to me or take a screenshot or a photo of it. This is where you want to be ideally. You want that monitor 20 to 30 inches from your face. Optimally, the computer screen should be 15 to 20 degrees below eye level. If it's hard for you to figure that out, have someone just kind of look at you and help you out. We do have those screens impacting our eyes and impacting the glare. If you can use anti-glare screens to help, please do. They know that it really does impact our eyesight. We need to take a break from looking at a screen a lot. So if you are on that screen a long time, just look somewhere else for a while. Get up and take that walk. We want to support a seat. I see this a lot at the college and a lot with individuals. You want something behind the back, supporting your back. Keyboard, mouse, we talked about that. And here's the other thing that a lot of people don't think about. I think about it because I work in a space that does not have this. I don't have windows. They know that spaces that have windows are going to benefit your well-being because you're seeing the outdoors. The other thing they know from research, plants, real plants, not plastic. Real plants help people's well-being in the workspace. So think about that. And if you are a plant person and you can have some plants, put those plants around. It's going to help you. All right, next one. All right, y'all ready to get up? We're going to do a quick exercise. I'm going to get you up. I'm going to give you an idea. And if you don't want to stand up, you don't have to. You're absolutely welcome to stay seated. But I'm going to give you a few ideas of just a few exercises you can do. Our first one is just going to be a shoulder roll. And I like the shoulder rolls. Particularly, I like to go backwards. I like to use the elbows going backwards. You definitely can go forwards too with those shoulder rolls. But if you always aim to go backwards, you're going to open up that chest and find your best posture. So if you think about it, if you're leaning forward, when you pull those elbows back, you have to stand up and lift up in some way. Another one for you, just relax those shoulders. Another one for you is they say doing some type of a head motion. What I have on the next screen for you is it says gentle head circles. We very gently can take a time looking right and looking left. We can very gently look down and very gently look up in some way. I know the lights can be difficult. Close your eyes if you need. You can make a very little circle, but I like to say, imagine you have a pencil on your nose and you're drawing a circle with your nose, right? So very, very gentle. So we're kind of trying to loosen up those neck muscles that tend to get tight. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to do like the Broadway dance head circles or like the Michael Jackson, the whipping the head around, right? I don't know. Did Michael Jackson do that? I don't know. But we don't want to do those jazz dance head rolls. We're going to be very controlled and contained with it because I see that too. And the second you start going fast with any of that motion, you could compromise discs in your neck. So we be careful with it. All right. So our next one, we're going to take those hands out in front of us. You're going to rotate your wrists for me. These are really good to do, especially if you're typing and texting. Take a breath. And then we're going to tap a finger to your thumb. Just tap a finger to your thumb. This actually comes directly from the Arthritis Foundation, but they're really good to do in water or the shower. And then take your thumb and have it do a little circle. It's going to get some movement in that hand. Now, here's the fun one, especially if you're texting and typing. You're going to take your palm and push your right palm out to me. Elbow is soft. And then if you want to give a little pullback, you can. These are the muscles that get tight, especially when we're texting and typing. Now here comes a real fun one. We're going to do the opposite. So you're going to flip it downward if you want, optional, and then give a little pullback with it. There you go. Yeah. Ooh, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling it. All right, relax that hand, give it a little shake out. Let's get that other side whenever you're ready. Push your palm out, give a little pullback, take a breath, and then when you're ready, and if you want, take it down. The general recommendation is 20 to 30 seconds of holding. And you only do what's good for you. Rotate it, shake it out. My last favorite one that I like to do, especially if you sit a lot and you have any back issues, really easy. You just do a little hip circle, like you're hula hooping. Anyone ever hula hooped before? Can't keep that hula hoop up. I have no idea why. And then go the other way. Really just good to kind of loosen up the hips and that low back. So I appreciate your participation. Those are ones you could use at any time. Whenever you're ready, take a seat in any way you like. Take a breath. I appreciate it. But this is our reminder to always get ourselves up in some way and try to move in some way that works for you. I do a stretch for the college every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 3 on Zoom, 15 minutes. It's like a movement stretch. You're always welcome to participate and join me, even if you're not with the college or if you're retired or whatever it may be. Again, my email's on the slides. Just message me. I'm happy to give you that link and get you signed up if you'd like. All right, free, right? Totally free. All right, on to the next one. So we've done a lot of talking about, these are the stretches, some of them we just did, so just FYI. All right, next one. All right, so I did put here for you before we jump over to mental health, some technology resources that are vetted, that are out there that you could know about if you'd like to use them. There's a lot of free workout videos out there that you could take advantage of. Some of them, like the YMCA, actually has a full at-home program. For their members, they provide links and things they pay for, but for anybody, they have on-demand fitness videos. They even have a stretch there, a short office stretch that you could do. These are other tools and apps that are out there. They have been vetted, they have been used. Hello Heart is one. It's an example that we use at the college, but you have to be through a company to be able to use it. It's a blood pressure screening tool. There's other ones out there as well for free. And I'm going to share some more apps that do movement as well, right in our mental health section, and do more stuff that's more mindfulness and meditation and yoga. So, all right, we're going to jump ahead to the next one. So, emotional wellness. We're going to talk briefly about the impact because it goes hand in hand. We're going to talk about sleep and just the big picture about emotional wellness, especially now. It's super important. So we're going to skip ahead to the next slide. Thank you. So burnout. Burnout's a big deal. So the burnout index in 2022, and I would take a guess some of these numbers have only gone up, surveyed 32,000 plus people, tech professionals, across 33 countries. Of those individuals that were surveyed, 62% of the tech professionals said they feel physically and emotionally drained due to the demands of their jobs. 2 in 5 of the workers showed a risk of burnout, with 42% of them considering quitting their roles in the next 6 months. Tech workers are more susceptible to imposter syndrome, per this study, due to the rapidly evolving nature of the industry. Fast moving, right? Imposter syndrome is a psychological term, a psychological Some therapists and counselors say it is 100% legit, and it is legit. Old school individuals say, I don't know what that is. I think that's just common human behavior. But it's the idea that you have expertise, you have knowledge, you're educated, you're trained, but you don't feel like you're that person. You feel like you're an imposter, right? Like you feel like people are going to find you out, that you don't really know what you should know. And in reality, you do. And so many therapists and counselors out there say, well, that's normal human behavior. It's okay to feel that way, right? So it depends on your philosophy of the term imposter syndrome. So we're going to skip ahead to the next slide. All right, we're going to talk about sleep, because sleep is a huge one for our physical health, but also mental health. So I want to ask you to reflect on yourself. How many hours of daily sleep on average are you getting? Okay, 6. 5. What did you say?
Try to get 7.
Try to get 7. Okay. I will tell you, they know that sleep is huge. They know when we don't get sleep in our bodies, inflammation occurs. So you may hear about individuals who are doing everything right. They want to lose weight, right? They're eating right. They're exercising, but they still can't lose weight. And sometimes a big component of that is the lack of sleep. The lack of sleep. That's a big deal. All right, next slide, please. All right, so they do know that individuals, particularly those who are utilizing tech and those in the tech sector, are more likely to have poor sleep behaviors due to irregular and long work hours, right? That would make sense. Stress, work-related stress, especially if it's coming home with you and sticking around long term. And then there's that issue we've all heard about, that screen usage prior to sleep. There are studies, and they know that the light from those screens will keep us awake. So if you are someone scrolling through your phone right before bed, or you use it as your alarm clock and you go to put that alarm clock on your phone, but then you get suckered into like, that's me. Oh, let me look at everything else. It's going to impact your ability to fall asleep. So obviously we want to shut that technology down and potentially get it out of your room. Get an old school alarm clock. If you're like me, I had to get the old school alarm clock. I was like, no more phone, because it was too tempting to be stuck on it. They are recommending 7 to 8 hours of sleep per evening. I don't have here for you today, but you can look it up. There are studies about the type of sleep we get, the stages of sleep. They know based on where you might potentially wake up, what stage, and how that will impact your well-being. But they really want continual sleep of 7 to 8 hours. And so many factors will impact it, especially as we get older, our sleep changes. So much can impact that. If sleep is a struggle for you, I do encourage you to talk to a physician and to really look into it, because there is no such thing as a sleep bank. I know my kids in college, maybe you've heard this one. Don't worry, Mom, I'm going to make up the sleep on the weekend, right? I just keep going. Or maybe you remember, or you've taken exams before, you go through it, you study. I'm going to make it up. Ooh, I feel so much better. They know from research, there is no makeup period. There's no such thing. Once your body loses that sleep, that inflammation and the impact on your physical well-being and mental health is already there. So we need to try to work on sleep as much as possible. The other thing we know, it's harder to regulate emotions. Yeah, there we go. There's another typo right there. We were talking about it's harder to regulate your emotions, not regulate your emotions, but it's hard to keep your emotions in check, and everything's going to feel a little worse if you're struggling with sleep. They know that. And it can lead to greater mistakes made, particularly at work. They know from research and data that individuals who don't sleep well in the work setting are more likely, and post-work, are more likely to make mistakes when on the job. All right, next slide. That was my mistake for not having enough sleep myself. All right, so what's the big picture in general when we talk about stress? Because those in the tech sector are a lot like other individuals who are feeling stressed. They know that around 1 million Americans miss work because of stress. Stress is a big deal. It's also a big industry with money. That's why, because so many people are impacted. 83% of workers are reporting feeling stressed at work. 55% of Americans are stressed during the day, and I'm sure from when this was polled, it would be higher now. Stress, anxiety, and depression cost the global economy around $1 trillion in lost productivity. People not able to work. We do know there's good stress. We need stress, the good stress, to kind of keep us going. But it's when stress becomes too much and it's impacting our physical and mental health that becomes that problem. All right, next slide. So the big picture is we know that a huge amount of doctor's visits are for stress-related ailments and complaints. I like to share that I managed at a mind-body retreat for many years. I oversaw all the wellness classes. And the instructors there would always say to me, you need to take yoga. You'll feel better. You need to take yoga. And I wouldn't get myself into class because I was working. So one day my back was so bad, I ran to the doctor down the street. I left work, ran to the doctor. And the doctor looked at me and she checked everything. And she said, I think you need some yoga. That's really what's going to help you. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But she was right. It was stress related. That's what led me to her office. The issue is we know long-term stress can contribute to heart disease and, oh, look at another typo. Wow, we're doing good. I did have someone check all my slides for me. Obviously, they were not quite checking them too well either. So heart disease and stroke. And then eliminating the symptom does not get to the heart of the problem, right? You can say, I'm just going to eliminate this pain and work on it so you feel better with whatever's going on. But if you don't address the problem, what's causing the stress, the long-term impact is there. All right, next slide. These are some signs of burnout. It's valuable to know those warning signs of what they are. We often think with burnout, people just want to sit back and do nothing, which, yeah, that can happen. People don't want to go to work, or they go to work and there's a term called presenteeism, that they're present at work, but they're not doing anything, right? I don't know. I've had my moments like that, but there are days where, you know, maybe someone's not really getting anything done, although they're there. It's good to know the signs, because if you see yourself leaning towards those signs, it definitely means there's an opportunity to find a way to fix something. And if you can't leave a job, what can you do to change your focus on that? What can you do to help yourself? All right, next slide. The other bigger picture to keep in mind is self-care is important and it's imperative, right? If you see someone who needs self-care or you need it, don't put yourself down for that. If you see someone who's struggling, don't put them down for that. And remember, it is okay to not be okay. One of the big issues with mental health and emotional wellness is nobody wants to talk about it. We can talk about somebody being out because they broke their leg and now they're in a cast, and we ask them how they are and we send flowers. But the individual having a mental health challenge, we don't talk about. Nobody wants to address it or talk about it because it's, oh, don't talk about it. But that stigma, we need to get past that. We need to talk about it because it's normal. It's okay. I want you to keep in mind that anxiety and stress is part of our biological makeup. We're all going to experience that in some way, maybe especially now, if that's what you are feeling, it's normal. But really, the issue is when we ignore the emotions, it does not help. If we ignore it, it's still going to be there and it's still going to linger and it's going to have that impact. All right, next one. All right, so I want you to think about what you are doing for your self-care. What are you currently doing for your self-care? Write that down or think about it, or think about what might you do, right? You don't have to be doing it right now, but what might you do? What's that something down the road you want to do? And aim to try to find that way to get to that something, or get someone to help you find that something. So next slide. Couple of resources out there to let you know about. We did meditation earlier with the Headspace tool, the video from Headspace. They do know, as I said, through research, that meditation, focusing on mindfulness, which this picture shows us as a reminder, does help our emotional wellness, which will ultimately help our physical wellness too. I would encourage you, if you're not already, if you are someone who likes to walk, take advantage of good weather coming, hopefully, right? Being a little warmer, hopefully, if you like the warmer weather. and utilize it. They call it actually nature bathing is the actual term. So when you get up to take the break away from a computer or stand up from wherever you are, get outside if you can. They know vitamin D can help us. They know that nature can help us through research and data. And they also know that breathing and taking a physiological sigh can help us. So I'm going to show you 2 breathing tools that are really easier, somewhat, to remember. The first one is you hold 5 fingers up, 5-finger breathing it's called. I like this one because it's not a hard one to forget. But you hold your 5 fingers up and literally you just trace the hand, and as you draw up, you inhale. And then as you trace down your finger, you exhale. And then you inhale on the next finger and you exhale coming down. You inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, and you do your last finger. And that would slow down. It would slow down your breathing. It would encourage you to breathe, but it would activate your parasympathetic nervous system. That's going to help calm us down on the inside. So whenever you need a moment, take advantage of that. The other one, a physiological sigh. This is also research-based. This helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system. That's going to help us kind of calm down. So a physiological sigh is 2 inhales followed by a longer exhale. So it's 2 shorter inhales followed by a longer exhale, similar to some of the breathing they do in yoga. So it would be an inhale and another inhale, followed by a longer exhale. That would be a physiological sigh. If you look that up, you type in physiological sigh, you can find descriptions on how to do it as well. All right, next slide. This is one other thing I just shared. You could take a picture of it. You could save it. There's something called the 3M framework of burnout. This is the recommendation to keep individuals from burning out, especially at work. They say that we need a macro break, a meso break, and a micro break. And if we are utilizing a tool like this, it will help prevent burnout. But those breaks on here need to be a complete shutdown, especially the macro break. You want to imagine you're on a beach in Hawaii and nobody can get you. So you are not scrolling through that phone and looking for something or responding to anything from work. Through research, they know that individuals are less likely to burn out if they are doing this for themselves. So think about that. Think about the ways you could do it. If you like it, just an option. All right, next one. A lot, there's a lot. So I said that I would share some more tools. These are some more tools for you that tackle more of the emotional wellness. Some of them, particularly Headspace and Calm, have actual movement you can also do in them. Headspace and Calm both have free stuff on YouTube. If you get the app, they're going to provide more. The Breathe to Relax is a free app for anybody that encourages you to meditate and times you through it. 7 Cups is a free online therapy and counseling tool. They have people who will just listen to someone talk. I do encourage you, if you're here at MC, if you are an employee of MC, that you take advantage of our faculty staff assistance program or wherever you work. If you have an EAP, take advantage of counseling and resources. And then these are just some other tools out there that are, the virtual calming room is free. Sleep Cycle has some free stuff, and then they encourage you to purchase other things, but you don't have to. Some options for you if you're looking for resources and tools out there. All right, next one, super quick so we can get to questions because time is running out. So as I mentioned before, the wellness industry is an $800 billion industry, and there are so many opportunities to tap into that yourself if that's a field you want to go into, right? Or you know someone who wants to do that. So next slide, just a couple things to keep in mind, what's out there, right? There's so many applications and tools that individuals are creating, and really a lot that's going on now is personalization, AI, right? A lot of AI being used out there, and individualized customization. The other thing in the technology world related to wellness, as someone who worked in Mind Body Retreat, who worked in gyms, Everywhere you look, there are softwares, programs, and tools to help everyone do their work. If you've joined a gym, you probably have an app. If you joined a gym, you had to register in some way. You have to check in. That is big opportunity. If you want to create something that will benefit those fields, my general recommendation for anybody before you try to create an app or a tool, go work in that field and understand it. Understand the pain points and what people need. You will be more successful. All right, next slide. Just a reminder to you as I bring it to a wind down, wellness is a journey, not a destination. And I want you to embrace each step towards a healthier you. Be kind to yourself. Find the ways that you can bring it into your life in a small way if you're not already doing it. And find the options for you that work best for you, your body, and your mind, and those around you. So thank you, everyone. I will take questions, but I appreciate it. Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening. Yes, I'm going to switch over here.
All right. Thank you so much, Megan. That was a great presentation. So we're going to open the floor for a couple of questions, either here for the people in person or online, post them on the chat. Just a reminder that, yeah, this was a great presentation, a lot of great information. Everybody who registered for this event will get a copy of this presentation along with a link to the recording. We are recording this session. We'll upload it to our YouTube channel. So you will get that sometime early next week. So, and I just tested the copy that you will receive. All the links are working. So a lot of great resources. Thank you so much, Megan. This was amazing. So any questions, anybody? I think there's we got a lot of information, but super useful, right? All right, we got a question here.
So I regularly struggle with sleep, exercise, and food quite a bit, right? And I noticed that for me, it's not a lack of information because, we have access to the internet. It's not a lack of will because I certainly start, usually I run for about 2 weeks and, have set up the good habits. But I always struggle with sticking to it, particularly when work picks up or college picks up. That's usually when all my good behaviors disappear. I guess my question is, what suggestions do you have to make the good habits sticky, right? Because, well, I'm gearing up again to try to fix my sleep, but it's frustrating when it's like, oh man, all the good habits are so hard to stick to, and the bad habits, I can't get rid of them.
Thank you. Great question.
Really, that's an amazing question. And you're normal and you're asking the question that most everyone asks, right? So it's like, okay, great info. I get all this stuff at my fingertips, but the actual maintaining it and going, and you did bring up the other point I really appreciate. We just had no time. Food and what we eat is also a profound impact, right? We know that. People can do everything right and work out. And if you're not eating the right way or the right things, yeah, it's going to be harder for you. But with that said, so a couple things. First off, I would encourage you to think about, if you can, right? That's always if you can, who can hold you accountable and keep you going? Is it a friend? Is it a coworker, a family member, a significant other, right? Who is that someone that's going to be like, nope, oh, I see you drop off, we're going, let's go, get up, time to run, right? If you have the means and ability to do it, hiring someone that's going to make you do it, right? I mean, believe me, I don't like to spend the money. I struggle with that myself, but I know I need it or I will not do it. So a lot of people really, like you said earlier, health is wealth, right? So where do you want to put the investment in if you can, right? A lot of people have to shift their mind frame that I'm going to invest it now so the longer future impact on me doesn't hit that not just time investment, but the financial investment now. So figuring out what is that something that will force you to be there. A lot of people take classes because the other people in the room, when they don't show up, or that instructor holds them accountable, right? Like, hey, we missed you. Just knowing somebody, they know if someone's expecting you, that you're more likely to show up in some way. So some people join gyms because classes are free with gyms and they don't have to pay for the personal training. They prefer that because it's the big list of everything you can do versus personal training and extra expense. The other thing I would say to you, if you have the ability or if you are working somewhere that has an EAP, is to look into coaching. wellness coaching or if they have an EAP. I don't know if you particularly would need counseling, but if they're not giving you coaching for free, look at counseling and figure out what is that barrier point that's stopping you, right? Talk about that with someone to just sort of process that of what is it for you? We're all different, right? What's that something for you that's preventing you from doing great and then kind of heading back, right? That a coach or someone could potentially help you figure that out and then help you take that path forward. But it's hard. We're normal. We're human, right? There's a lot going on. So don't be hard on yourself. You know, you're making the efforts, and that's what matters at the end of the day. So thank you.
Yeah, that was a great question. We have one more from Jen here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing your expertise. It's one of these concepts that you kind of have to rehear it, and you might get like pearls here and there. A comment for me, just from the last, what's worked for me, a book that I read a year ago, Atomic Habits, Small Habits That Build Up. But I had, one of the tools I use is a goal tracker. It's like a dry erase calendar. And when I walk into the house, like my current goal is the gym. So like green if I go, red if I don't go. So I'm forgiving of myself if I see a couple of reds because I need some rest days. But at least I know not too many reds will go before I get back on the green. So that's helps me. What a great takeaway for me is, like, I struggle with hibernate, like sleeping, getting enough sleep. So definitely going to check out these apps and tools and really a lot of free access to, like, you don't being fiscally responsible, also just being what's within your means, what's available through our community. So thanks for all the information.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I truly appreciate that. Headspace does, I'm talking about Headspace a lot, but they do. On the YouTube site, they have a whole slew of videos on sleeping also. So they're worth checking out possibly. I have not used them myself, so I can't speak fully to them, but they are there, so it doesn't hurt to take a look. You might find something that clicks that's free. I really appreciate you said that. I like to really tell people that it's micro steps, right? And we just aim for one small thing. I often use the term baby steps, but I don't mean to demean anyone by saying baby, but it is baby steps. And we just take a small step, and if we're successful, great. I tell people, why do you think gyms are so happy in January? Because they make tons of money, right? Because everybody signs up and everyone goes full force in, and they're gonna, drop 20 pounds and whatever. But in reality, it doesn't work, and it becomes a donation to the gym, and nobody is going consistently. So keep it little, keep it small, and you're going to have more likely to have that success. So I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
And thank you again, Megan. So much good advice. Thank you so much. We're going to start wrapping up. So a couple of questions, just a couple of things for you guys. First of all, I want to remind everybody that while these speaker series are sponsored by Verizon, all of our guest speakers are volunteers. They don't get paid. They don't get compensated for their coming here and for their time and talent. So as a little token of our appreciation, thank you so much. It's just some Hub swag. Thank you so much. Thank you, Megan, for coming today. And just to remind you, so Anthony is going to put both on the chat and on the screens here survey. And we always ask everybody to take 2 additional minutes of your time and to complete this survey. And it really helps us. We really look at the results here. And I can tell you right now that we are already planning our fall season for the guest speaker series. And talking about that, we only have 2 more dates for our spring 2025 guest speaker series. So our next fireside chat is going to be on May 5th. That's going to be in celebration of the Asian American and Pacific Islanders month. So we are going to have a really good panel of guest speakers that we are going to be talking about radical hope, innovators, and trailblazers in the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander community. So that's on May 5th. So if you have not registered for it yet, please do. It's still open. And our last Future of Tech for Spring 2025 is going to be on May 15, and our speaker is going to be Kelly Dominic Hudson. and she's going to be talking about color-coded coverage, rethinking risk and racial bias in insurance. Again, we talked a lot about technology and how technology sometimes helps us with some of these barriers, but sometimes technology does and can create some of these things. So very interesting topics. Again, thank you so much. Let's give a hand for Megan. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time for being here, our in-person guest, and also our online guest. Thank you so much for completing the survey as well. We'll hope to see you soon. Anthony is going to lead our in-person guests to the room where we are going to be doing the community lunch. And thanks again. Have a wonderful evening. And then you will receive that email sometime next week. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.